EverQuest is a 3D fantasy-themed, massively multiplayer online role-playing game released on March 16, 1999. EverQuest was the second major MMORPG to be released, after Ultima Online, making it an early entry to online gaming in the Internet era. It was a commercially successful MMO, breaking subscription expectations and growing for many years after its release, and securing an important position in the history of massively multiplayer online games. It was also the first to employ a three-dimensional game engine. As such, it has had a wide influence on subsequent releases within the market. It has earned numerous awards, including 1999 GameSpot Game of the Year and a 2007 Technology and Engineering Emmy Award. History. Development. EverQuest began as a concept by John Smedley in 1996. The original design is credited to Brad McQuaid, Steve Clover, and Bill Trost. It was developed by Sony's 989 Studios and its early 1999 spin-off Verant Interactive, and published by Sony Online Entertainment. Since its acquisition of Verant in late 1999, EverQuest was developed by Sony Online Entertainment. The design and concept of EverQuest is heavily indebted to text-based MUDs, in particular Decomood, and as such EverQuest is considered a 3D evolution of the text MUD genre, like some of the MMOs that preceded it, such as Meridian 59 and The Realm Online. John Smedley, Brad McQuaid, Steve Clover and Bill Trost, who jointly are credited with creating the world of EverQuest, have repeatedly pointed to their shared experiences playing MUDs such as Sojourn and Toralmud as the inspiration for the game. Famed book cover illustrator Keith Parkinson created the box covers for earlier installments of EverQuest. Development of EverQuest began in 1996 when Sony Interactive Studios America executive John Smedley secured funding for a 3D game like text-based MUDs following the successful launch of Meridian 59 the previous year. To implement the design, Smedley hired programmers Brad McQuaid and Steve Clover, who had come to Smedley's attention through their work on the single-player RPG Warzard. McQuaid soon rose through the ranks to become executive producer for the EverQuest franchise and emerged during development of EverQuest as a popular figure among the fan community through his in-game avatar, Arjun. Other key members of the development team included Bill Trost, who created the history, lore and the major characters of Norith, Jeffrey G.Z. Zatkin, who implemented the spell system, and artist Milo D. Cooper, who did the original character modeling in the game. Release. EverQuest launched with modest expectations from Sony on 16 March 1999 under its Verant Interactive brand and quickly became successful. By the end of the year, it had surpassed competitor Ultima Online in number of subscriptions. Numbers continued rising rapidly until mid-2001 when growth slowed. Sony's last reported subscription numbers were given as more than 430,000 players on 14 January 2004. EverQuest initially launched with volunteer guides, who would act as basic customer service support via petitions. Issues could be forwarded to the game master assigned to the server or resolved by the volunteer. Other guides would serve in administrative functions within the program or assisting the quest troop with dynamic and persistent live events throughout the individual servers. Volunteers were compensated with free subscription and expansions to the game. In 2003 the program changed for the volunteer guides, taking them away from the customer service focus and placing them into their current roles as roving, persistent characters role-playing with the players. In anticipation of PlayStation's launch, Sony Interactive Studios America made the decision to focus primarily on console titles under the banner 989 Studios. while spinning off its sole computer title, EverQuest, which was ready to launch, to a new computer game division named Red Eye. Executives initially had very low expectations for EverQuest, but in 2000, following the surprising continued success and unparalleled profits of EverQuest, Sony reorganized Ferrant Interactive into Sony Online Entertainment, with Smedley retaining control of the company. Many of the original EverQuest team, including Brad McQuaid, Steve Clover and Jeffrey Zatkin, left SOE by 2002. Subscription numbers Ferrant, from 1999 to 2001, and SOE, from 2001 to 14 January 2004, issued formal statements giving some indications of the number of EverQuest subscriptions and peak numbers of players online at any given moment. These records show more than 225,000 subscriptions on 1 November 1999, with an increase to more than 450,000 subscriptions by 25 September 2003. Growth and sequels. The first 4 expansions were released in traditional physical boxes at roughly 1-year intervals. These were highly ambitious and offered huge new land masses, new playable races and new classes. The Shadows of Lukalin expansion gave a significant facelift to player character models, bringing the by then dated 1999 graphics up to modern standards. However, non-player characters which do not correspond to any playable race-gender class combination were not updated, leading to the coexistence of 1999-era and 2001-era graphics in many locations. The Planes of Power expansion introduced the Plane of Knowledge, a hub zone from which players could quickly teleport to many other destinations. This made the pre-existing roads and ships largely redundant, and long-distance overland travel is now virtually unheard of. EverQuest made a push to enter the European market in 2002 with the New Dawn promotional campaign, which not only established local servers in Germany, France and Great Britain but also offered localized versions of the game in German and French to accommodate players who prefer those languages to English. In the following year the game also moved beyond the PC market with a Mac OS X version. In 2003 experiments began with digital distribution of expansions, starting with the Legacy of Ikesha. From this point on expansions would be less ambitious in scope than the original 4, but on the other hand the production rate increased to 2 expansions a year instead of 1. This year the franchise also ventured into the console market with EverQuest Online Adventures, released for Sony's internet-capable PlayStation 2. It was the second MMORPG for this console, after Final Fantasy XI. Story-wise it was a prequel, with the events taking place 500 years before the original EverQuest. Other spin-off projects were the PC strategy game Lords of EverQuest and the co-op Champions of Norith for the PlayStation 2. After these side projects, the first proper sequel was released in late 2004, titled simply EverQuest 2. The game is set 500 years after the original, as opposed to EverQuest Online Adventures which took place 500 years before. EverQuest 2 would face severe competition from Blizzard's World of Warcraft, which was released at virtually the same time and quickly grew to dominate the MMORPG genre. Declined since the release of World of Warcraft and other modern MMORPGs. There have been a number of signs that the EverQuest population is shrinking. The national New Dawn servers were discontinued in 2005 and merged into a general European server. The 2006 expansion The Serpent's Spine introduced the adventure-friendly City of Crescent Reach, in which all races and classes are able to start. Crescent Reach is supposed to provide a more pedagogic starting environment than the original 1999 cities, where players were given almost no guidance on what to do. The common starting city also concentrates the dwindling number of new players in a single location, making grouping easier. 2008's Seeds of Destruction expansion introduced computer-controlled companions called mercenaries that can join groups in place of human players, a response to the increasing difficulty of finding other players of appropriate level for group activities. As of Seeds, the production rate also returned to one expansion a year instead of two. In March 2012, EverQuest departed from the traditional monthly subscription business model by introducing 3 tiers of commitment: a completely free-to-play bronze level, a one-time fee silver level, and a subscription gold level. The same month saw the closure of EverQuest Online Adventures. Just a few months earlier, EverQuest 2 had gone free-to-play, and SOE flagship Star Wars Galaxies also closed. In June of the same year, SOE removed the ability to buy game subscription time with station cash without any warning to players. SOE apologized for this abrupt change in policy and reinstated the option for an additional week, after which it was removed permanently. November 2013 saw the closure of the sole Mac OS server Alcabor. In February 2015, Sony sold its online entertainment division to private equity group Columbus Nova, with Sony Online Entertainment subsequently renamed Daybreak Game Company. An initial period of uncertainty followed, with all projects such as expansions and sequels put on hold and staff laid off. The situation stabilized around the game's 16th anniversary celebrations, and a new expansion was released in November 2015. EverQuest Next, the third iteration in the series, with the working title EverQuest Next, is currently under development. In-game screenshots, concept art, and more information were revealed at the SOE fanfare in August 2010. However, this early version of the game has since been scrapped.